Katie here. Welcome to my 2022 recap video. I do one of these every year at the end of the year, mostly for myself to just reflect on the year and what I learned and what it taught me and all that kind of stuff. So that's what this is. It's that time of year again. I cannot believe that 2022 is over. But I have to say I'm kind of relieved that it is over because I'm ready for a fresh start after everything that's been going on in my life this past year. But yeah, I make one of these every year. I hope you guys are all having a lovely holiday season when you're watching this, or whenever you're watching it. I hope you're having a good day. I have a lot to go through, honestly. I just wrote it all out in my notes app, and I'm gonna just kind of go through month by month, which is what I think I did in last year's video. But yeah. I don't really want to make this too long of a video, so we'll get right into it. So let's hop into it with January 2022, which was not a very eventful month. Looking back, I couldn't find a ton of stuff that I did that month that was super memorable, but I did technically celebrate 5 years with my boyfriend at the time, Levi, and we went to a nice dinner, and then also we went to go see Nate Bargatze, which is my favorite comedian. Got to see him live for the 3rd time ever, so that was fun. In February, not much happened. Once again, it was just kind of a cold winter's month. My sister's birthday is that month, so I actually have a lot of friends who are Aquariuses, and so I celebrated a lot of birthdays that month, and I always do. Every February is a very birthday-filled month because I know too many Aquariuses, but it's fine. I love all of them. But yeah, aside from all the birthdays and Valentine's Day, February was not a very eventful or memorable month this year. I will say I spent the first couple of months in 2022 kind of preparing myself internally for what I kind of knew was going to happen in the next few months. I was planning to end my relationship. I just didn't know how or when it was going to happen. March was the turning point for me. The best way I could describe overall this year is that it's the year I woke up and I started to awaken in March. So in March, I got to go to Arizona with Levi, and we went to go visit his friends who live there, and it was a really lovely trip. I've always wanted to go there. The highlight of the trip, though, was getting to meet my cousin Austin's new baby, Scotty, and so that was really cool to be able to meet him, and just go to Arizona was really a lovely trip. It was the first traveling that I did this year. At the end of March is specifically when things started to change for me, and I do attribute a lot of this change to my decision to start going to Pure Barre, which is a workout class that incorporates ballet and Pilates. Ever since 2020, I have started to get a little less confident in my physical appearance. My body's changed since I turned 25, and it's not a bad thing. It's just that I started to realize I need to really start or find a workout that I enjoy, because I've never really enjoyed working out that much. And so Pure Barre was an amazing discovery, and I'm very thankful I found it. At the end of March, I took my first class, and it literally it set me on a path towards everything else that happened this year, and I'm so thankful for that. So in April, I turned 27, and it was overall a pretty good month. I continued to go to Pure Barre a few times a week and really started to feel better mentally and physically, but my birthday was definitely the highlight of the month. I went to Dogwood Social, invited my friends, and it was probably one of the biggest birthday gatherings I've had for myself since I was really young. I don't usually do a ton of stuff for my birthday, and this year I just decided that I wanted to, especially after 2 years. In the pandemic, the last 2 birthdays I've had, I didn't really do anything for, obviously. So I decided this was the year to do something fun for myself and celebrate. At the end of April, Casey, my best friend, and I went to buy some sunflowers and put them down at our old high school in memorial or memory of our friend Ellen, who passed away in 2020. One thing I will say about April is that I knew that I was likely going to end my relationship in May. I just kind of had a gut feeling that's when it was going to happen, and so April was a month of I guess preparing myself for that. So yeah, that brings me to May, which is the month that I went through my breakup. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do, one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. It didn't feel real at the time. Everything was very surreal and just not super traumatic necessarily, but it was hard because I don't know, I guess I never really thought that I would be the one to like do that or have the strength to do that and end it and really like leave and get all my stuff and just leave. But I did. It happened on May 7th. So that was the beginning of May. And ironically, I had a Taylor Swift bar-themed night event happening 1 week after the breakup. So that was perfect timing. I went to the pageant in St. Louis the weekend after my breakup and got to go sing and dance with my best friends to some Taylor Swift, which, if you know me, I love Taylor. So it was the perfect medicine for me after the breakup. The rest of May was a blur. I went to Pure Barre as often as I could because that truly was, as hard as it was in the beginning, because it's like a hard workout, it also was very healing for me too and helped me with my mental health a lot. And let's see, Memorial Day weekend I went to my grandparents' lake house, which you're gonna hear me say a lot because I went there basically every month this year after May. I've been there at least once a month, I think. And so, yeah, Memorial Day weekend was spent with my family at the lake house. June was a really busy month, which was perfect. I got to go to 3 different concerts. I saw the Lumineers, the Chicks, and Bon Iver. After the last 2 years, you know, 2020 and 2021, not going to any concerts, it was great to be able to go to quite a few this past year. The highlight of June, though, was my impulsive trip to Destin, Florida with my friend Michael. I'm so thankful. I remember I was taking a nap. I was like really miserable one day, and Michael texted me out of nowhere in early June, and he was like, hey, I know this is last minute, but do you want to come with us to Destin, Florida in a few weeks and stay at his parents' condo, which I've done before. I went in 2019, but I didn't go in 2020 or 2021, obviously. So yeah, I went to Destin. It was a really fun trip, and I am very thankful for that part of the month because it truly like helped me to just traveling really was one thing that I will say that helped me a lot this year, because anytime I got out of my house or went somewhere different, it helped me to, I guess, not distract myself, but sort of just come alive a little bit more and realize there's more to life than just being sad about my breakup. At the end of June, when I got back from Florida, I went to my friend Nathan and Maddie's wedding. All I'll say about that is that I was able to just have a really nice evening with my ex and his friends and be able to kind of get some form of, I guess, closure in a lot of ways. Not necessarily about our relationship, but just like, I don't know. It was kind of a way to say goodbye to like some of his friends that I probably won't see for a long time. And then in July, I went to my grandparents' lake house again for the 4th of July. This was the 3rd year in a row that we went. And I will say, just overall, I credit, of course, my friends, but especially my cousins and like my family at the lake house for making this year so amazing for me. I just had a lot of great memories at the lake house. Probably I went there more this year than I have any other year in my entire life. We've spent a lot of time at this lake house the last couple years, especially since the pandemic started, and I'm really thankful for that because we've made so many awesome memories. But I got back from 4th of July at the lake, and I went to another lake. I went to the Lake of the Ozarks with my group of girlfriends, and some of their boyfriends came as well, and we rented out a house on Verbo. And I had not gone to the Lake of the Ozarks in many years, so it was a great weekend getaway, but I remember this being one of the lowest points of the summer for me mentally, because at the end of this weekend, after 2 back-to-back exciting weekends at the lake, I like crashed kind of. I was driving home. I didn't crash my car. I mean emotionally I crashed, and it was mostly because I think every weekend I would have these like awesome like plans and do fun things, and then Sunday would come and I would kind of get the Sunday scaries, but not in the sense that I was dreading work, more so the sense that like, oh my god, reality's hitting me. I am missing and grieving the loss of my ex and just the relationship and everything. It was just like, it would come in waves, and that's how grief works. Like, it's not linear. Healing is not linear, and that's one of the big lessons I learned this year for sure. Yeah, the end of that weekend in Ozarks was definitely a rough. And the rest of July, though, was pretty great as far as I can remember. I spent a lot of time this past summer at my grandpa's pool. He lives literally like 5 minutes from us, and so I think I swam in his pool more this summer, like actually got in the pool physically, than I ever have like any other summer, because I have had a few years there where I will go to his pool and just lay out, and I don't get in at all, even if it's like 100 degrees. So this year I was like, Katie, you're gonna start swimming. You're gonna start diving in his pool and like acting like a kid again, and that's what I did. At the end of July, I got to see John Mulaney, which is a comedian. That was a really good time. And in August, I went to a carnival, which is in the town where my grandparents' lake house is, and I spent that weekend with my cousin Tara and her friend Addison. It was a really great weekend. I remember feeling really good in August, just kind of about overall like how I look, because my confidence had been pretty low the last few years, and I remember just feeling, I guess, more pretty or beautiful in August, which I had not felt in a long time. At the end of August, I said some more goodbyes, and I haven't really mentioned this throughout this video at all, but there were quite a few times that I still went over to Levi's apartment throughout the summer after the breakup and just visited with his dog and cat, because in a lot of ways his dog and cat, Canon and Peanut, they were mine too, and it was really hard to part with them. So I would go visit them, but at the end of August, Levi moved out of his apartment that I spent the last couple years at with him, and so I helped them move and kind of said my goodbyes to that apartment and got to see the new place that, you know, him and his roommates are gonna live. And it was a good weekend of like, or a good day of just sort of saying goodbye, like the closure sort of aspect again. Definitely painful, but also, yeah, more so bittersweet than anything else. I went to another Cardinals game in August with Marlins Man, and I really hope that I get to go to another game next year with him. But if not, that was a fun last game to go to with Marlins Man, or Lawrence Levy. I went to two different carnivals actually in August. One was called Baldwin Days, and the other was the one that I went to at the beginning of that month. And I love carnivals, so I thought I would just mention that it was a fun carnival-filled month of August. I also wanted to give a shout out to my sister and her boyfriend Ben, because I spent a lot of time with them this year. Whenever I maybe felt lonely or just didn't really have anyone to hang out with, I would just kind of basically hang out with them and be a third wheel, and it was great. September, I spent Labor Day weekend at my family's lake house, and I also got to go to Columbia, Missouri and visit my friend Brandon and go to like a law school winery event with him. Also, one of the highlights of September was I got to go to Kansas City and visit my friends. We went to a winery like fall themed event, and it was literally like 80 degrees that day, so hot, so we couldn't even dress in like cute fall clothes yet because it was warm, which is just, you know, that's how Missouri works sometimes. But I took home with me that weekend I think it would have been my third jumping spider I've ever owned. Yeah, that's a side note here. I got more jumping spiders as pets this year. But yeah, this specific one that I brought home with me, I named Carl, and I got him from my friend Carlin's house. It was just on the back of her porch, so I just took him home with me, and now I literally have him in a cage over there, or like a enclosure. So, yeah. October is one of my favorite months of every year, so I tried my best to make lots of fun, spooky memories and stuff, but the beginning of October was definitely like one of the best parts of the month. I went to the Renaissance Festival, and I had never been to one before, so I really went all out. I dressed up. I went with my friend Katie. She brought her friends with her, and we went in a group of 4, and it was so fun. Although, like, I basically just walked around and looked at things. We didn't really do a ton. We just went for the sake of going and seeing what it was like, and it was also packed, but the weather was perfect, and I felt like a princess. It was a really cool experience, and I definitely will go back next year. I also went to an Eagles cover band concert with my parents that same weekend at the beginning of October. I got my hair done, and I'll mention it this time because I got my hair done, and for the first time in a long time, along with like just everything that's happened this year, I decided that instead of cutting my hair off and like going shorter like I have for the past almost 10 years, I am officially growing it out. So this was the appointment that I told my stylist, okay, like, don't trim off too much because I'm keeping it long, and she gave me like a Farrah Fawcett blowout look, and it was awesome. So that's also what I asked for last time I went, just this past New Year's or Christmas Eve when I got my hair done. And so that's, yeah, that's what I ask for when I get my hair done, by the way, if you're wondering. I ask for like a Farrah Fawcett layered cut with my bangs. But yeah, back to October. I got my hair done. I also went to Six Flags St. Louis with my friend Michael, and we went on lots of rides, and I got a season pass for next year, so I hope to go there a lot next year. And then the best part of October, aside from Halloween, was the fact that Taylor Swift released her new album Midnights in October, and it was perfect timing. Obviously, so thankful that I got a new Taylor album during one of my hardest breakups I've ever gone through. And also the 1975 released a new album in October, and so 2 back-to-back amazing albums from 2 of my favorite artists in the same month was awesome. I ended October by going to the lake house again and having a fun little fall festival there with my cousins. And then the last weekend of October, I went to a Halloween party with my friend Katie, and I dressed up as a pirate. She was Kesha. Then that next night, which was a Saturday night, I went to a Blues hockey game with my friends Michael, and Jamie, and I filmed the big Jumbotron, which was a halftime like little fun thing they do where they find lookalikes in the crowd, and in this case it was a Stranger Things themed lookalike, and I filmed it, put it on TikTok, and it decided to go viral. And so it has 14 million views, and I'm mentioning this just for myself, but it was definitely one of the best things that happened this year, just personally for me, because I work pretty hard on my creative side of my self, you know, especially this year I've been trying to focus more on TikTok and like short form content on Reels and stuff. And so posting this video and having to get 14 million views on TikTok and 19 million views on Facebook was definitely really awesome and cool to see. And then now I'm just like determined to go to another Blues game and make it happen again, but I don't know if I will. Anyways, it just made me feel pretty happy. It was a good part of October, aside from getting dressed up like a pirate and going out for Halloween. At the end of October, I also got another jumping spider. I found him in my mailbox, and I brought him inside, and I named him Morpheus. So not that anyone cares, but yeah, now I have 3 jumping spiders because I lost 2 males this year. Gregory and Boo died in 2022. They don't live very long. They're spiders. Okay, so now for November, I remember the beginning of this month being extremely hard for me. Probably the most amount of grieving I have done thus far in my breakup healing process happened in November, which was exactly 6 months. So the 6-month mark is when I just felt this like rush of like grief and emotions and everything all at once. I don't know if it's because I was realizing the summer had ended, or that I had been blocking out stuff for a long time. I don't know. It all just hit me. And I think in a lot of ways that was a good thing, because I got it all out of my system, and a switch like flipped in my head. And ever since that first week in November when I had that rough patch, I have felt very good. Like I felt pretty darn happy and at peace, which is a good feeling. But yeah, it was a rough week. And then I spent one of those weekends in November with my friend Michael. We went to a lot of fun St. Louis things. We went to the art museum, and I basically did a good job this year of romanticizing my weekends. And I actually, for the last 30 weeks, have documented my weekends with a TikTok and Reel. So both on TikTok and my Instagram, I posted a little mini weekend recap video for the last 29 to 30 weeks. So I did my best to make plans on the weekends that I could film and make these fun videos out of. So aside from Thanksgiving, the highlight of November was definitely the fact that I was put in charge of getting Taylor Swift tickets for next year's Eras tour. And as stressful as that whole day was getting those tickets, I achieved in getting them. I got them, okay? But we got nosebleed seats, which is fine. I'm still very thankful. But yeah, that was a whirlwind of a day for sure. And now for a little December recap. I feel like this month has completely flown by, but it's been a really good month. I went to the 1975 concert on December 8th with my best friend Carlin, and we had a great time there. And then I got to do some fun Christmas things, decorated my grandpa's house for Christmas. And also the highlight of this month was going to Chicago with my friend Carlin. We visited Casey there. She lives there now, and it was such a fun trip. It was just a weekend getaway, but it was so fun. And like now I just can't wait to go visit her more, since Casey's officially gonna live there pretty soon. So yeah, Chicago is awesome. And then obviously we're here, and Christmas was last weekend. It was a really great Christmas. It was our family's second Christmas in this home, or yeah, second. And since this is, you know, our new house, we moved here just about 2 years ago now. Overall, it was a reminder that I am so thankful for my family and my friends this year, because if I had not had them and if I didn't live at home with my parents, I honestly think I would not have gotten through this hard breakup as much as I was able to. It was really good to have just my sister, my family here, and also my friends. And I'm excited for 2023. So I wanted to say a few things about what I learned this year. I'm gonna read what I wrote and then go into maybe a few of my goals for 2023, and then the video will be over, I promise. Overall, I would say that 2022 was a year where I woke up. I experienced the feeling of knowing that it was time to go, but instead of just feeling like it was time to go, I actually left. It was the scariest thing I've ever had to do, and I don't really know where I got the strength to finally do it. But I'm so proud of myself for not settling anymore and realizing that I deserve better. It's been a year of learning how to forgive myself for the time that I lost, and learning how to forgive others for what they did to me so that I can move on. It's been a year of learning to love myself and my own company, and a year of falling asleep alone in my bed every night. The moments of grief I've experienced throughout this past year, especially after the breakup, were really hard, and I had some super bad days here and there, but overall I would say that I learned that, like I said earlier, grief is not linear, and it is like a wave. It just comes and goes, and you just kind of have to roll with the punches. And especially staying present is what I learned helped me a lot this year. So while there were bad days, the good days definitely outweighed all of those. I had way more amazing days this year than I did, you know, moments of grief. I journaled a lot, I traveled, I listened to a lot of good music, I saw some of my favorite artists live in concert, and I documented the last 30 weekends of my year, which I'm very thankful for. I've been waiting a long time to be the person that I have become this year, and I'm excited for the person that I am starting to become with each passing day. And I'm just pumped for this new era that I have felt myself entering in for a long time now. My goal for 2023 is to truly learn to love myself so that the next person that I'm with is someone who I feel is deserving of my love and gives me the love that I deserve back. And most of all, I hope to focus on my content creation, like my creative side of things, because I feel like I put that on the back burner these last like 5 or 6 years, and there's no one to blame for that except for myself. So I'm going to focus on TikTok, Reels, and content creation, and maybe even start my podcast back up in 2023. So with that said, I will see you next year. Thanks for watching. Bye.